Mm. Okay. Just guys, let me know if we are live. I'm not able to see myself as live. Okay, I think we are live now. So hi guys, if you guys are joining in, so in this video we'll be telling you how to answer the question about why, if they ask you how to, like why do you want to do an MBA. So in this we'll discuss how to answer that question. So before we start, please like the stream, please share it with your friends. Please make sure more people join in so that we are encouraged to do more of these streams. Oh, sorry. So please like and share the stream so that more students join in, and then we'll be encouraged to do more of these streams. We'll try to do some more streams on this topic, basically like how to write your VAT and what are the possible topics that can come in VAT. We have already done one video on GDPI preparation, basically like how to answer tell me about yourself. So this is the second video. So please like and share the video as much as possible so that more students join in. Then we will be encouraged to do more of this so that more students can benefit from this particular session. So guys, please like the video. Please, the guys who are just joining in, please like the videos and please share it so that more students can join in. The more students that join in, the more regularly we'll keep doing these sessions. So please like and share the video. We'll be starting soon. Before we start, what I want you to do is imagine yourself in the interview setup. Imagine that you are going to be asked this question in the interview and how you plan to answer it. So basically imagine that you are sitting in the sitting in front of the interview panel. You have already introduced yourself, and after a brief discussion then they ask you, okay, so tell me, why do you want to do an MBA? So think how logically can you tie doing an MBA with who you are and what you want to be. Okay, so just think of it before we start so that at least you have some basic template to start off from, and then we can build on that, and then I'll tell you what exactly you should do and what you definitely should not do when it comes to why MBA. I'll also cover a basic PI checklist about what you should prepare for going into the interview. This is an individual list. You should basically think that, okay, I have to prepare for X, Y, and Z. And after you prepare, you will be more adept at answering the basic questions that can essentially come from your profile and in your interview as such. So we'll get started soon. The guys who have just joined in, please like and share the video so that more students can join in. If all of you share the video and like the video, then we'll get more students to join in and we'll be encouraged to do more of these streams in the future. One more thing before I get started, an important thing. We are having a scholarship test on, I think it is on Monday. So on Monday we'll be having a scholarship test from 8 p.m. onwards. So please go to the URL is at the bottom of the this particular slide. You can see krakow.in/cats-scholarship-test. So cat-scholarship-test. So that is the URL. So go over there. It is a 1-hour test, and based on your performance you can get a lot of discount. So this is basically for all those students who want to take Krakow but are essentially want to first either have like monetary constraints or any other constraints as such. Please go to the test. The test is available to everybody, and it is a 1-hour test. It is also a CAT level test, exactly CAT level test. So you will also get a idea of what kind of questions can come in CAT. So this is a good starting point if you are just starting off, and also on the basis of this test you can then claim a lot of discounts. So please go and check yourself how you perform in this free test, and see what discounts you can get, and based on that you can basically get a massive discount on our course. So please go there. It is at 8 p.m. and it's a 1-hour test. It is going to be a live test essentially, so it's going to be open only for a very limited window. So you have to be there at 8 p.m. exactly so that you can take it for 1 hour. It's like you'll have like a short window, not exactly 1 hour window, but you have a very short window. So please make sure that you keep yourself free at 8 p.m. on Monday to take the test. Okay, so the link to that is over there. If you go to that right now, you can register for the test, and you can also set a reminder on your email or whatever on your phone for the test as such. Okay, so we'll get started soon. Guys who are just joining in, please like and share the stream so that more students can join in, and then we'll have more interaction also as such. If more students join in, we can see more versions of why MBA, and then we can understand, okay, how differently can we answer this particular question. Okay, if you guys are just joining in, please like the video, and that will essentially deliver it to more students. So we'll get started. Please have a potential answer in mind, and then we can understand, okay, this is something we should not answer, and this is something that we should answer. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing is, before we actually start with why MBA, I like to first tell you why they actually ask this question. So why do they ask this question? Why do they ask why MBA? See, many students go in for an MBA, and they see like thousands of students coming in. See, if you have done all of this work, you have cracked CAT, you are sitting in front of a admission panel, then if you've done all of that hard work, then they should take you seriously, and they should just give you based on merit, right? Why do they need to know your motivations for doing an MBA? So the reason why it's important to have the right reasons to do an MBA is because irrespective of how hard you feel CAT has been or CAT preparation has been, the first year of MBA is much harder. You have to work very, very hard to deliver all the work that is expected in the first year. The first year is extremely hectic. I remember in my first year of MBA, I hardly slept more than like 6 hours every day. On an average, I would sleep 5 hours on an average. So given the amount of hard work and dedication that is expected in the first year, they want to be sure that the students that they select are capable of delivering that hard work. And one of the biggest indicators of whether or not you will work hard is how badly do you actually want to do an MBA. What are your motivations for doing an MBA? If you're really motivated, if you're really interested in the course, you will deliver and you will do all your best. If you're not really interested in the course, you will not work hard. So because of that, they really want to know how interested you are in the course, not in the placements, not in the peer group, not in the value of that label, but in the course itself. Because once you get in, you already have the label. Once you get in, you also already have, you're already part of the peer group. Once you get in most cases, summer placements during your summer placements, you do not actually share your GPA. So because of that, there is little incentive for those guys who are just basically motivated by these things to work hard. So they will slack off, they will not do their work, they will not submit their assignments on time. And the professors don't really want those kind of students. The professors want students who will come up, who will come to class on time, who will pay attention during class, and who will work hard during the class hours. So because of that, they really want to know who is really interested in this a particular course for its course value. So that is why they ask you this question. Now, if that is the reason why they ask you the question, what would be the right answer? The right answer to the question is basically you have to in some way indicate that you are interested in the course. You are interested in learning business skills. You are interested in learning different aspects of managing businesses. You are interested in not just one elective, but all electives, all parts of running a business, from finance to operations to marketing to even HR. So irrespective of what the different parts of our running a business, whatever different parts are there, you are deeply interested in this particular topic. That is why you are there. So that is basically what you have to indicate with your answer. Now, keeping that in mind, now try to formulate using your own personal experience, using your own personal profile, and then try to think that how should I actually communicate that I am really interested in learning. If you are able to communicate a earnestness about learning, you will successfully pass the interview. If the teacher really feels that, and the person who is interviewing you is a professor, if the professor really feels that this guy is very sincere, is going to be a hard working student, is going to do all the work allotted to him properly, he is going to be inclined to give you good marks in the interview. But if he feels that you are not interested in the MBA course, you are only interested in the label, or because you are joining because everybody is going to MBA, so I am also going to MBA, if these are your motivations, the professor is going to hesitate to give you the opportunity. So just remember, it's not just your profile that the professors are judging. They are not just judging your profile or what you have done in the past, they are also judging you on the basis of how likely are you to do good work during the MBA. So they are also judging you on how motivated you are, how interested you are, and that is basically for a lot of students who have a poor profile or who don't have the best profile. If you can show an earnestness about actually doing hard work and being really interested in MBA and in business skills, that can actually cover up whatever you lack in terms of profile. So just keep this in mind, and that gives you an importance of how important it is to answer this question properly. I see a lot of students have joined in right now. So I'll just give you a brief introduction of what we are doing. We are answering how to answer the question why MBA. Why do you want to do an MBA? If an interview panel asks you that, how do you answer that question? Now, before we go further, I would urge all of you guys, please like and share this particular video so that more students can join in and more students can benefit from it. Also, what I would suggest is in this, if you guys can, in the comment section, if you can comment what is your reason, what would be your answer to that question, then we can review it, and then we can I can point out, okay, say this will help you, or don't say this will hurt you. So also try to formulate your answer for this particular question and post it in comments, and I'll be looking at the comments and I'll try to help you answer this question properly. If you guys are just joining in, please like and share the video. Please like the stream. The more the students join in, the more streams we'll be conducting. So guys, let's if you've started forming the answer, let's take a look at first what you should not put in that answer. So let us take a look at the first things that you should avoid in your answer about why MBA. See, the worst thing that you can do when it comes to looking at your MBA course or MBA admission is to look at the MBA institute as a placement agency. See, realistically, even the professors know that most of the students who come in to get better jobs or better career prospects. They are not blind to the fact that MBA significantly boosts your salary, it significantly improves your career prospects. But they do not like the institute being treated like a placement agency. They expect it to be a center of learning. Now, if you treat it as a placement agency, if you give off the vibes that you're only here to improve your career prospects, then they are unlikely to take you seriously or take your admission seriously. So the first thing that you should definitely avoid when it comes to answering this question why MBA is saying that you want to do this to improve your career prospects. Though this might be the truth, in fact this was true for me. If I answer truthfully, the reason why I did an MBA is because I was a computer science engineer. I was at a point where I felt that I did not want to do tech work anymore. That is not true anymore. I enjoy doing tech work, but at that point of time I felt burnt out by my engineering degree, and I felt I didn't want to do this anymore, and MBA seemed like a very good alternative. The career options after MBA were many. You had many places or things that you could do after an MBA, but from a professor's perspective, you have to always remember, you're in this interview, you're selling yourself as a ideal candidate or a good candidate. And when you're selling something, you have to look at it not from the your own eyes, but you have to look at it from the eyes of the person who is going to make the decision to buy or not buy. Now, from the professor's eyes, if you look at it only as a method of improving your career prospects, you won't be a good student. If you look at your MBA course as an opportunity to learn, then you will make a good student. So from the professor's perspective, he does not want to have students which are just looking at it as an way to improve his career. So that's why in your why MBA, do not mention that you want to do this to either switch fields, switch career fields, do non-technical work, basically get into, there are many people who come in and say that I'm very interested in finance, that's why I'm here. All of these are bad answers, because essentially these indicate that you are looking at your MBA course or your MBA institute as a placement agency. And this is the first thing that we were told when we joined IMA, is that this is not a placement agency. You should look at this as a center of learning. You should take it seriously as a center of learning. Now this is a point which will come again and again when you actually do an MBA. So given the fact that they are so sensitive about that, don't mention or do not give the reason that you're there to improve your career prospects. The second thing that you should not mention is that a lot of people are doing it. Now this is something that might be the reason for many, that a lot of students are going for an MBA. A lot of people are joining MBA. It's a popular choice. So because it's a popular choice, I want to do it. But essentially it indicates to the professor that you don't have a mind of your own. It indicates that you can't take individual decisions. And essentially you will work hard and you will study only if you are really interested in MBA, not because, okay, this guy's son went or that cousin went to MBA, so you should also do an MBA. You want to work hard because if you're not interested in the particular field, right? So because of that, if you say that this is just a popular choice and because all the smart people are doing an MBA, I should also do an MBA. If you say something like that, the professor will not take you seriously. So avoid saying something like this. Your reason for doing an MBA should be a personal interest. It should be personal and individual to you. It should not be that, okay, X, Y and Z are doing an MBA, that's why I'm doing an MBA. People I admire did an MBA, so I'm doing an MBA. These are bad reasons to do an MBA. If you guys are just joining in, I see a lot of students who just joined in. Please like and share the video. The more of you, the more students that like the video, the more it will reach students, and more students can join in and we can have more of these sessions as such. Secondly, please actually also put in your comments about why, how you would answer why MBA. I see a lot of answers. I'll be taking a look at them one by one. After finishing this don'ts, I'll actually take a look at some of them and I'll try to give you feedback. So in the meantime, please try to put your reasons in the chat so that I can take a look at them. Okay. Now let's take a look at the third, this third thing that you should definitely not put in your answer of why MBA. I was not interested in my undergrad vocation or in technical vocation as such. This is something that is true for many engineers as such. For or even like I have seen even lawyers who are like I was no longer interested in legal profession. You don't hear that from a lot of medical students as such, but you hear that a lot from engineers. See, this happens often in India because people become engineers because they are expected to do either medicine or engineering, and many students are not really interested in engineering. But if you tell that you are here in your MBA trying to get an MBA because you are not interested in engineering, the professor will feel that you don't really have a mind of your own. You don't know what you want. And if you're a confused person, you're not an ideal candidate for an MBA. Because essentially tomorrow you might feel that, okay, I don't want to do an MBA either, this is not right for me, and you will leave your course midway or you will do a poor job of it. So because of that, if you just say that, okay, I don't want to, I'm here to do an MBA because I don't want to do tech, or I'm here to do MBA because I don't like my core field, that is a very poor reason why you should, not give in your MBA interview. If you look at it from the professor's eyes, you are essentially a student who is shirking responsibility, who doesn't know what they want and who is confused in life. That is not a good or ideal MBA candidate. So that is not a reason why you should give for why MBA. A much worse condition of this is blaming your undergrad, blaming undergrad, profs or college. This is something that I have come across. I have taken a lot of interviews also for students who are practicing for their MBA admissions, And this is something that I come across when I ask them, okay, why aren't you interested in your core field, or why aren't you interested in tech? Once they say that, okay, I'm not really interested in tech, I ask them, why aren't you interested? Then they blame their undergrad college, or they blame their undergrad professors. Now this is like a huge red flag. If you look at it from the MBA professor's eyes, this is a student who does not take responsibility, who is confused, and who does not know what he wants, but he is blaming his undergrad college and undergrad profs. This person who is taking your interview is also a prof. So how is he going to feel when you blame the undergrad profs? He is going to immediately remove your name from the consideration. So just think of it this way, that you should never blame. Just remember that you should not give any negative or feedback about your undergrad course. Don't say that mechanical engineering is boring, or mechanical engineering is not something that I wanted. It was not really, it was very boring or anything of that sort. Nothing negative about the course, nothing negative about the college, nothing negative about the professors. If you mention anything negative about a third party during your interview, it negatively affects you. You don't realize it, but in the when people complain, and essentially complain during an interview, the person who is listening to the complaint negatively views the person who is complaining. So always just remember, never give any negative feedback about anything. Even if you hate your job, even if you hate your undergrad college, even if you hate your undergrad stream, don't say anything negative about it. You might say that I was not suited for it, or it was not right for me. Because when you say that, you are taking responsibility for liking it or not liking it. You are taking responsibility for your scores. You are taking responsibility for not studying during the undergrad. If you blame the professors, it does not look good on you. A mature person will not blame the professors, he will blame himself. Instead of blaming the teachers, you should blame yourself as a student. So always make sure that you do not say anything negative about your undergrad course, college, or professors. Also that mention that never just basically say that you are here because there are limited choices for you as such. So you can't say that, okay, I come from a second tier engineering college, and from a second tier engineering college I have very few limited choices of career advancement, because that again loops back to this. That is, you are here to improve career prospects or to jump into a higher bracket of earning. So essentially, do not basically say that you have limited choices, which is why you are here at MBA. This basically I hear a lot, where basically students say, I don't know for sure that I want to do an MBA, but I know for sure I don't want to do core, or I don't want to do tech for sure. So whenever they say that, it basically means that you don't know for sure why you are doing an MBA, but you just know that you don't want to do something else. It makes you sound confused, and again, they don't want a confused student. They want somebody who's sure about his interest, about why he is doing that MBA. So also don't say that you have limited choices. Another thing is that, as I mentioned earlier, do not say that I want to have a finance job, that's why I want to do an MBA. If you want to do a finance job, the professor will say, go and intern with a finance company, go and try to find a job in a finance company. This is not Naukri.com, why are you here? Others might say, okay, I want a consulting career. If you want a consulting career, go and try to get hired by a consulting company. Again, your MBA institute is not a placement agency. If you want a specific job, that is not why you should go to a MBA course as such. So if you have specific careers such as finance or consulting in mind, do not say that that is why you want to do an MBA. Now this might seem hypocritical, because a lot of students do join because of those reasons. A lot of students do join because they are very attracted to finance, or they are very attracted to marketing, or they are very attracted to consulting. But there are two reasons why you should not do this. First is, as I mentioned, this is not a placement agency. The prof is going to get very not going to be happy with that answer. Secondly, if you mention that, okay, I'm very interested in finance, a lot of faculty that comes from marketing or operations feels that, okay, you'll not, if you're only interested in a finance job, you will not pay attention in my class. I'm a marketing faculty. When I go and try to teach to like 80 students, there are many students who are like, I won't need marketing skills. I'm going to go and join a financial firm. I'll be in investment banking. I don't need to know all of this from like organizational behavior or Operations, I don't need to know that. So they will not pay attention. So for a lot of professors, this is a sore point. So you should always remember that your interest, it is very valid to have interest in particular sections as such, but that should not be the one factor motivating you to do an MBA. So because you have an interest in finance, you should read up on finance, you should read up on different parts of finance, you can have interested in economics also, but that should not be the reason why you do an MBA. If you're doing an MBA, you should have interest in all subjects of MBA, because the minute you say that I'm only interested in finance, it comes across to some faculty that you are not interested in marketing, you are not interested in operations, you will not listen in a class. So whenever you see that, make sure you do not suggest any specific careers in the future. Now this might sound hypocritical, because most of the students who actually go through the system already have preferences. They do, but you should not mention them. That is all I am asking. If you have interest, mention it as an interest, but do not say that I want a job in finance. That is all I am asking. Do not mention that. That is something that you will be limiting yourself in the interview. And last thing, again coming back on this, better pay. If you say that you want to improve your pay, you're not getting paid a lot in your tech job, again, this is not why you should do an MBA. There are better ways. If you actually spend 2 years in your field, you might get better pay. If you learn better skills in your field, if you do certifications, you might get better pay. That is not the reason why you should do an MBA. You do an MBA to learn MBA skills, to learn business skills, to do a role which requires business skills. So just remember, why do you do an MBA? You do an MBA because you want to learn business skills. You want to grow into a role which requires business skills. So that is what you should keep in mind. Now, before we go ahead, let me take a look at some of the reasons that have been put up by the students. If you guys are just joining in, please like the stream. I see like there are many students, but only like much lesser likes than there are students, like only 63 likes while there are more students watching. So please actually like the stream so that more students can join in. And before we move ahead, please just notice the footer over here, which is CAT 2021 scholarship test. So if you go to krakow.in/CAT scholarship test, you will get the access to the scholarship test. So what is the scholarship test? So on Monday at 8 p.m. you will have a scholarship test, which is basically you will get a 1-hour test. Based on your performance in the test, you will be eligible for massive discounts on Krakow courses. So if you are looking to subscribe to Krakow, please take the test because it is going to give you a lot of discount. Again, if you are not interested in subscribing just right now as such, if you want to wait for some more time, still take the test because the test is of a very high quality. I actually took the test and I felt that this was a very good test. It was reflective of actual CAT and it was fairly difficult also. So if you are basically just starting out with your preparation, you want to know how to actually prepare, even then I would suggest, if you want to take CAT again, please take the CAT scholarship test. It is an excellent test and it would be an excellent diagnostic test of where you stand in your preparation. So let's take a look at a few these that we have, comments that we have. Let's see some of these. Sumit says, after 16 plus years of job as software engineer, it seemed that things have since always been driven into management, from managing TechFest to being a college representative and team lead at various events. And I think MBA is just the thing that will help me gauge my knowledge base and help me have perspective about management, explore more of my skills through it. A good start, Sumit. So remember that you have actual experience managing things. So what you should essentially say that when I managed, you were the team lead in your software engineering job, you managed fests in your college, you had an organizational role in your college or at work. And what that basically told you is that how difficult some of these roles are, especially what are the skills that are required. So for example, if you are organizing a tech fest or if you are organizing a fest for your college, you have to form a team. That team has to work well together. It has to gel together. It has to, if there are interpersonal conflicts in the team, you have to, as the team lead, you have to smooth it out. If you have to, if you are conducting an event for a particular festival, you have to figure out how to attract students to come to that particular event. You have to attract footfall. You have to market your event. You have to get the word out. You have to understand, okay, in how, what manner should I advertise the event? Where I should put the banner, How much should I spend on it? How should I actually attract students? Before even doing that, you have to consider, okay, what events would I put up so that students are actually attracted to something like that. So if you think from all of these perspectives, you see that there are many management or business aspects to running even an event in a fest. Now, if that is the case, you have to then say that when I ran that event, I realized that I had many skills and I had a natural inclination for this work, but I also lacked specific skills or training in these specific skills. And I realized as I worked further in my software engineering job that if I had training in these specific skills, I could do a much better job. Moreover, I feel that as a leader in an organization or in a higher managerial capacity, I would need more of these skills. I would need to know why I am making a product, why I am doing something, how to actually research why the product should be made, how it should be made. I need a broad range of skills, and because of that, I think I need a strong foundation in management skills. That is why I want to do an MBA. That indicates that you are there to learn. So if you have any experience of running a team, use that. Tie it into why you want to do an MBA. Let's see some more examples. Okay, Dinesh is asking, ma'am, please read my answer, but okay. Let's see the, I couldn't see Dinesh's doubt as such. Want to do an MBA, okay. Abhishek is want to do an MBA because I want to learn all the aspects of running a business. I have a keen interest in automobile sector and I've thought of it right from the beginning. So I did my BTech in MEC. Now from engineering from NIT, and now I want to move from tech aspect of auto sector to the business aspect of it. Very good start, Abhishek, but then you have to be a lot more, you have to bulk up that interest in automobile sector a lot more. So basically just say that did you actually research into the automobile sector? Did you think of what product can you make into the automobile sector? If you want to say that eventually you want to start up in the sector, what are the startups that are already there in the automobile sector? Do you want to be an entrepreneur? If you want to be an entrepreneur, what are the different startups that are there in the adjacent sectors also? So you have to have a concrete business idea at least going into the interview. Now if you have entrepreneurial plans, it makes a lot of sense to get an MBA degree. Now if you say that I have entrepreneurial plans, I have a deep interest in my automobile sector, I have a mechanical engineering degree which I chose specifically because of my interest in the automobile sector, and I have spent a lot of time researching the sector, and I believe I can start up in this sector given my interest. But I know that for running a startup I need skills more than just the technical skills. So I need actual management skills for running a startup or for starting a business in this sector. That is a very strong reason to go for an MBA. So you have the beginnings of a very good answer over here, Abhishek. Just try to bulk it up with more information and details about your interest in the sector. Okay. Now Ravi says that I'm a mechanical engineer currently working in mechanical design, software sales, where my area of expertise is limited. I want to increase my skills by learning various aspects from product and market research and final sales. Now Ravi, your first things first, do not say that your current options are limited, because if you say your current options are limited, then they'll say that okay, find other jobs. If the fact that that is bothering you is that your job is limiting, then find other jobs. It should not be that. You should basically then say that I want to do this further, but when I want to do this further, I know that I need XYZ skills. Now you say that market research and final sales skills, then say what do you want to do with that. So basically say that if I have mechanical design, I have thought of products that I could make in this particular format. But when I actually think of how I can actually start up in that particular format, I feel that I don't have the required skills to start up, because starting up is more than just technical skills. It is also entrepreneurship requires more than just technical skills. It is also requires business skills as such. So for that I want to do an MBA. You have the starting point, but you need to go further on it. So now that we know exactly how to at least start answering this particular question, let's take a look at what you should mention in your why MBA. So do's of why MBA, how should you actually answer this? So the first thing that you should obviously try to indicate in your why MBA is that you are interested in acquiring business skills. So basically you want to run, you want to know all the aspects of running a business. You want to know how to handle big teams at an organizational level. If you see yourself at a senior managerial level and you're going to have a large team under you, you want to be able to take care of a big team as such. So you need to know the different aspects of running a team. So all of that might be good reasons for you to learn business skills. And the starting point of answering the why MBA question is that I want to learn all the business skills that are there, not just finance, not just marketing, but all of them, because if I have to run in a proper business environment, I'm going to need broad-based knowledge, not just one section as such. Because if you just want financial knowledge, you can do a CFA. There are also financial engineering courses as such. If you want marketing knowledge, you can actually work in sales and marketing. If you don't actually have a experience in sales and marketing, it becomes difficult to justify why you want marketing knowledge as such. So whenever you have something like that, you will have to say that, okay, I want broad range of business skills. The second thing is that you should do is you should tie it into a personal story. Tie it with a personal story. So you should basically say that I was managing managing a fest in my college. I was leading a team at my workplace. I was doing all of these things, and that helped me realize that if I really want to grow and do this at a larger scale, I need XYZ skills, and those skills I am not really trained in, and I should get training in those skills because that will help me deliver at a much bigger level. Then you should also basically indicate a sincere interest in learning. So, and here when I say learning, not just one aspect of an MBA degree, but all aspects of an MBA degree. This is basically if you're going for general management, if you're going for MBA finance or MBA marketing, if you're going for MBA HR, then you'll have to tweak it to show a genuine interest in that specific field. But if it is not a specific domain as such, you will have to then indicate a wide range of interest. Now then you'll have to say that, okay, my ultimate goal is this, and because of that, I know that if I have to really lead a team to build products or to create something or to build a business, I'm going to need a broad range of skills, and I am keen on learning it in a formal manner. See, when you answer the why MBA questions, they can ask you that why don't you just find a job in the field? You don't find a job in the field because you need formalized training. Even if you find a job in marketing and sales, it would be superficial learning. A marketing and sales job will not give you a kind of a theoretical learning in marketing or sales as such. So basically, because of that, you won't get a proper formal training in any of these domains. If you want proper training where you have a strong foundation, you need an MBA. If you just want a superficial work, you can get it at your work experience also. But if you want a strong foundation, you should do an MBA. So if they ask you if you are interested in this field, why don't you just get a job in it? You can answer saying that I want a broad range of skills, not just this specific set. And I want formalized training because I know that formalized training will help me lay a strong foundation. Otherwise, I will have gaps in my knowledge. So that is what you should answer. I'll try to answer a few more why MBAs, and then we'll go to the last part, which is PI checklist. So basically, just remember, avoid treating this MBA course as a placement agency, and show a genuine interest in learning the business skills that are involved in an MBA. Business skills basically include finance. So finance is not just like markets and investment banking. Finance is also corporate finance. So corporate finance tells you how to actually manage a business, how to run the accounts of a business, how to price your product, what should be your profit margin, how to realize, okay, what should be the cash flow of a company for it to actually work. Businesses go under because they have cash flow issues. Businesses go under because they have poor finance. Businesses go under because they have poor marketing. So whenever you think that, okay, if you have to run a business, there are all of these factors that you have to think of, then you realize that only one thing that actually covers all of these aspects is an MBA. So just think of it in that way. Okay, I'll try to answer a few more why MBA over here. I'm sorry if I've missed this. I'll try to go back and see some more of them and try to answer that. Okay. So, Ashutosh is saying, I want to do an MBA because I feel I am very limited when it comes to skills, and MBA provides me an opportunity to learn more about corporate and its ways. Again, Ashutosh, this is a double-edged sword if you think of it. It shows you in a poor light. It shows that you don't have skills currently. That is not what you should say. You should say that you experienced something first and you tried to do something, and while you were intuitively following what you should do, you realized that there were gaps in your knowledge. Rather than saying that your skills are limited. When you say your skills are limited, that is slightly negative. So instead of saying something negative like that, you should say that you realize that there were gaps in your knowledge, and if you actually try to run something of a business or a fest or an event, you realize that you need more formalized training. So that is why you want an MBA. Always twist it in a positive way rather than a negative way. Indian monk is asking, ma'am, how specific we have to be while writing the goal? You don't have to be very specific, you don't have to answer in very detail, but essentially tie it to yourself. Your why MBA should be different from somebody else's why MBA. It should not be very generic, saying that, okay, I want to learn this skill, I want to learn finance skill, I want to learn marketing skill, that's why I'm here. Now anybody can pass it off that way, but it should be tied into who you are. So if you have run something, if you have started up before, if you have been part of any event or a festival in an organizational capacity, if you have tried to even learn anything before, if you have tried to learn economics before, you can say that you tried to read up on different aspects of economics and that interested you deeply, and you also learned that when you are reading about how businesses work or why a business works or why it fails, you realize that you have major gaps in your knowledge in understanding business. You are interested in business in an academic capacity, and because of that you want to know different aspects of what it actually takes to run a business. You might not have entrepreneurial dreams of your own, but even if you want to run a business at a senior management level, even if you want to say become a senior manager in an FMCG company, you need to have skills which are broader than just your specific domain. So even the PR head of a FMCG company has some idea about marketing. Even a marketing head in an FMCG company will have to have HR knowledge, because without HR knowledge, without organizational behavior knowledge, you can't run big teams. So whenever you are in a senior management position, you need a broad based knowledge, and if without that your ability to run large teams, to run build a product, to create an experience is limited. So basically say that if you have to if you have to move forward in your career to build anything, you are going to need a broad base of skills, and that is why you need it, and tie it into whatever you already have done in a way. It should not be generic. That is all that you have to remember. Nihal is saying that, should I fake I want to get into product management citing my relevant work experience, or be honest and tell them that I actually want to switch to finance when I have nothing to back it up? Now basically, Nihal, in this case I would not say that commit to finance, nor would I say that fake about product management. Basically you say that you have not really if you are not decided, that is fine. The point of an MBA is also that you understand what your interests are. So that is completely fine if you have not decided a stream. It is actually recommended that you have not locked down on a stream before going into an MBA. If you have locked down on a stream before going into an MBA, it actually limits your ability to learn as such. But what you should say instead is that you have relevant work experience and you have seen first hand when it comes to product management, the different aspects that are required in product management. You are also interested in the financial aspects of business, in business, not just tech businesses but other businesses, and because of that, because of your quantitative leaning, you are interested in learning financial aspects of business also. You are interested in learning how markets work, how investment banking works. You have wide range of interest, and because of that you want to do an MBA. Here you are not choosing one or the other. Here you are indicating you are interested in all of it. That is a much safer thing to do. Again, essentially, if you don't have any backing for finance, you should not mention finance as the only interest. If you mention finance as the only interest and you have no work experience, it sounds as if you are not it sounds as if you are a bit naive, because essentially you are being motivated by other people that you see that, okay, a finance job pays so much. I read in a newspaper that finance pay packet is like 1 crore, so I should get into finance. It sounds like that. Even though your finance interest might be legitimate, because there are so many students who say that, okay, I want to get into finance because of the pay package. It seems naive thing to do. So just think of it that you can indicate your interest in finance, but don't lock down, don't say that this is what I want to do as such. Ace that I'll be saying, during my school years, being a part of my school council, I was responsible for managing the school events and college this as well. Being a part of varying organization committee, that led me to realize that my interest in management and therefore doing an MBA would help. Good ace the dub, whatever this is, it's a fairly good start as such. But remember, go with your college experience first, because essentially school has been so far ago that it sounds not as important or serious. You are a very different person than you were in school. So start with the college experience of management. Say that you have been at organizing events and at organizing teams for a very long time. Starting from school, you have been organizing. At your college, you held these positions, and you have managed these festivals, and you know firsthand how difficult it is to do, considering all the challenges that are there. And because of that, you need to hone your skills in that. That is more serious than saying that, okay, I did all of this in my school. Because once you start with the school, it sounds less serious. Even when you are writing your resume, you first put your college, like you start with your work experience, then your undergrad college, then your like high school, and then finally school. So if you go all the way back to school, it sounds as if you have not done anything recently. Generally, people order with recency rather than the first experience as such. So Bhagyashree is saying this would help me, working as an architect, I got some opportunities to cultivate leadership and management skills and managerial skills, but I believe a formal education would help me enhance my knowledge and skill set. That is good, but this would help me in not only exploring diverse career opportunities which can apply my learnings, but also enhance my perspective towards market, business, leadership and management. Bhagyashree, it's a balanced reason, but it is not tied to you properly. So you are an architect, okay, then mention how exactly is, why does an architect really need a management degree? And there are many architects who run architectural firms without management degree. Now, if you want to explain why you need it, you will have to give concrete reasons why. So you'll have to say that when I'm running my, I feel that when I'm leading teams or I'm executing projects, I need more perspectives than just an architect's one. You have good reasons that are coming up afterwards, like the second part is a good reason, but you need more than that. You need to tie it in with whom you are as a person. Because if you just read your reasons, okay, and if you remove the first part, that why MBA can be used by anyone. It is not very strongly tied to you as a person. You need to tie it more strongly to you as a person, your achievements, your work till now. So tie it up better as such. Most people say that a panel is looking, Udita is saying that most people say that panel is looking for candidates who are sure about which position they want to reach after MBA. Is it necessary to say that? Because I feel such an answer can backfire. You're definitely right. Such an answer will backfire. That is not the case. See, what they want to be sure of is they want students who are sure that they want to do an MBA. So you should not say that I'm here because I think this is an okay choice. You should be sure about doing an MBA. If you're not sure about an MBA, if you're confused about doing an MBA, that is a bad place to start. But what you do after an MBA, you don't need to lock down before an MBA. It is in fact not right to do that, because in an MBA, when you start your MBA, you will have exposure to many different streams. Before going into an MBA, you don't know what all streams are there. You don't even know the different opportunities that are there. You don't know which subject you will end up liking. So you can't really say before an MBA what you are going to end up doing. It might just happen that you really like HR. It might happen that you really like marketing courses. You might like finance for all. Before going into an MBA, you might not know that if you don't have any prior experience of that. So do not lock down on a stream beforehand unless you're giving an interview for MBA Finance and MBA HR. Then you have to say that I see myself in HR. Otherwise, don't lock down as such. It would backfire for sure, because if you say that I definitely want to do finance, then you have to say why. You will have to give it with concrete examples. And if you have not worked in finance, if you don't have financial knowledge, how can you actually defend something like that? So don't lock yourself into a narrow lane just as it. Keep your options open-ended. You don't need to make a choice before you go for your MBA interview. So last, let's go to the last part, which is the PI checklist. I'm sorry if I couldn't cover somebody's why MBA. I hope you can essentially take whatever I spoke and rejig your why MBA. Just remember, tie it to who you are as a person. Show genuine interest in your developing business skills. Don't treat it as a place to learn careers, switch careers, get a placement. That is basically what you should avoid. Now the PI checklist. This PI checklist is basically, before you go into your MBA PI interview, what should you prepare for? Now, just as I said in the first stream, in the tell me about yourself, you have to write down your tell me about yourself. Now, once you write down your tell me about yourself, you have to say that, okay, hi, my name is Saili. I was born and raised in X. I did my undergraduation in Y. Now, you have all these hooks, right? Now, the first thing I said is that you have to research these hooks, and I'm very serious. You might find it ridiculous to actually research what your name means. You might have a good enough idea about what your name means, but still research. Because I was actually asked this question, what does your name mean, in an IIM indoor interview. People ask these questions. So starting from your tell me about yourself, just think of anything that you can be asked of. First is your name. Research what your name means. I was asked that what does your name mean. When I said that my name Saili is the name of a flower, they asked me what is the color of that flower. Now, I have never seen the Saili flower in my life, but I knew, I had Google searched beforehand what it looked like, and I know it's a white flower. Then they asked me, okay, if it's a white flower, does it have a fragrance? Now, their logical reasoning was that if it's a white flower, it has to have fragrance to attract insects and pollinators. If it has a color, it will attract pollinators without having a strong scent. Now, this is a very random arc to go on, but it is an arc that my interview took regardless. So you have to be prepared for any question that might arise out of your tell me about yourself. So start with your name. Research your name, what it means. If it's some part of say mythology, know the character. So if your name is if your name is say Karan, you should research about what Karna did in Mahabharata. Might sound ridiculous, but you never know where your interview can go. So always make sure that you start research from every single pronoun, every single proper noun in your tell me about yourself. Your name. When you say places of birth, okay, if you say this is where I was, okay, sorry. So if you say that, if you say that this is where I was born and raised, or this is where I spent most of my childhood, this is where I'm currently working, this is where I did my undergraduation, all of these places, you have to have an idea about the geographical aspect of it. So basically, the not just at the city level, but also the state level. So say that, for example, I mentioned that I'm from Thane. So they asked me about Maharashtra politics, they asked me about Maharashtra geography, they asked me what kind of trees grow in Maharashtra. I mentioned I was from a particular city. Then in an XLRI interview, I was asked what are the businesses or industries in that particular city. So basically, I had said that I'm very interested in business, and the Excel interviewer basically said, oh really, what are the businesses in your city? And I had no idea what businesses are there. So basically, I was completely flummoxed at that point of time, because I had not really thought of it in that perspective. So if you say that I'm really interested in entrepreneurship, you should not just know the entrepreneurship in your sector, automobile sector or any sector as such. You should also know what businesses are there in your particular city and town, what industries are there, what gets manufactured, what gets produced. You should also know what crops are cultivated in your state, in your region. Those crops, I was asked, I mentioned that I originally hail from like the Konkan region, and they asked me that what kind of trees grow in Konkan region. I mentioned that Konkan is famous for mango trees. Then they asked me that, okay, mango trees, are they more common closer to the shore or away from the shore? Now this is something that I had never thought of before. But if you are going for an interview and you know that you are mentioning your place, and that place is connected to a state, think of everything that grows there, everything that is produced there, all the geography of it, all the politics of it, who are your chief minister, who is your MLA, MP, trivia about your chief minister. At that point of time when I was giving interviews, the chief minister was Ashok Chavan. So they asked me, okay, tell me about Ashok Chavan. I had no idea, but I knew that his father was Shankar Rao Chavan. So I said, okay, tell me about, then he asked me, okay, tell me about Shankar Rao Chavan. But I had no idea, but I just knew that he had been a former Indian Home Minister. Your interview will just keep going deeper and deeper with each of the proper nouns that are there. You have to try to, so consider it like a tree, okay? These are the proper nouns you have put. Now your tree can have many roots. From like each place can have geographical, political, many roots, and it can just keep going deeper and deeper. Now you can't possibly exhaust all of them, but as far as possible you have to preemptively research as many of them as possible. So if you are from Uttar Pradesh, think of all the politics that is there in Uttar Pradesh, what are the parties in Uttar Pradesh, who is the chief minister, then you have to identify where is he from, what is special about him. You should be able to write all of these things. So essentially, whenever you see anything of this sort, write it like try to write a 2-pager about each of these topics, so that you will yourself to research it in detail. Just remember anything which you have specially mentioned in your tell me about yourself. So if you have mentioned that you have always been involved in organizing fests, or you have always been organizing events in your college, then you have to also prepare about the events you have organized. You have to then know that, okay, how much footfall is going to be there, what was the footfall or attendance for your particular festival, what is the biggest festival in India, how much do they charge for the entry for such festival. So whenever you put any kind of proper noun or hook, you have to go deep into that hook and research it. Now with your undergrad, this is a pain point for a lot of students. Most students who have passed out of their undergrad and have worked for 1 or 2 years have completely lost touch with what they did in undergrad. Now they don't know what to do over here. They don't know how to answer questions on their undergrad, because you can't revise 4 years of undergrad studies. So what do? See, just remember that unless you are a mechanical engineer, and unless the person who is in front of you is also a mechanical engineer, there is very limited set of things that he can possibly ask you about. Mostly, even if the professor is a mechanical engineer, he is now an MBA professor, which means that he does not know deep core topics as such. The thing that the professor is most likely to ask is where your mechanical engineering or whatever the course that you learnt, whatever, if this is the knowledge of your course and this is popular knowledge, whatever is the intersection of both of them, that is what he is most likely to ask about. So for example, I am a computer engineer. In my Ahmedabad interview, I was asked about Turing machines. Now the reason they asked me about Turing machines is because AI is extremely interesting to laymen. It's not just interesting to people who are doing computer science, it is interesting to everybody. Now if you think of it, the fact that it is interesting to everybody, you have to research everything in artificial intelligence, including Turing machines. You have to think that if you are a mechanical engineer, the laws of thermodynamics are known to people outside of mechanical engineering also. So you have to research that. So just think of what is the scope of knowledge and what is popular among it. What do people actually know about, and very carefully research those things. Second thing is your BTech project. This is less important for those who have already completed like 2 years or 1 year of work experience. But if you are just passed out, BTech project might be a big part of your discussion. So research your BTech project carefully. You should be able to answer questions on that properly. Also, you should think of the marketability. If you have built a product, or if you have built a if you have built a device, for example, you have to think that the professor might ask you, okay, how can you bring it to market? What would be the price of it? What would be the margin of something, producing something like that? How much would it cost you to manufacture it? Now, these are things you might not have thought of while you were an engineer, but because you said that I'm really interested in business, if you're interested in business and you are an engineer, you would have thought of all of these things. So because of that, if you built a device, you have to think that if I had to manufacture this device in a whole scale in a business, how much would it cost? How could I lower these costs? who would be the customers for this particular device, how would I market to them. You have to think of all of these things because you said you are interested in business. Just remember, you have to defend your interest in business. Another thing that occurs at times at many interviews is that, see, while taking your interview, while speaking to you, the professor is going through your folder and he's going to go through your grade sheet. So he's going to go through and see, okay, that in this particular grade, in this particular subject they did very well, or in this subject they did very poorly. So for me, my grades were mostly okay, except one particular subject of image processing. I had gotten a C for I think like a 5 point. So because it was a C, they immediately asked me, okay, why did you get a C grade over here? And they started asking me questions about image processing. So also go through your particular mark sheets and see that is there any particular subject you did exceedingly well in? Is there any particular subject you did exceedingly poorly in? You will have to prepare for both. Now the last thing that you have to prepare for well is your interests. Your interests are something basically when you say end of the conversation, tell me about yourself, you end with your interests. There you will have that, okay, I'm interested in sports, I'm interested in swimming, I'm interested in calligraphy. Whatever your interest is, you have to defend it by showing that it is a long-standing interest. So if it's a long-standing interest, you would have read everything about it, you would keep up with it. So you would know that, okay, if you're interested in cricket, you would have seen the recent series. If you're interested in football, you would see a particular league religiously. If it's a real interest, okay, for example, if it's a burning interest, you keep at it, it indicates a passionate outlook to life. It's somebody who not just has interest but works on those interests, and that is a very positive indicator of actually keeping up with interest. If you say you are interested in business but won't work for it, it's a bad thing. If you are interested in calligraphy but you won't work for it, it's a bad indicator. So you have to show not only that you are interested, but you have actually worked on those interests. So when you show that, it's a very strong positive indicator of your suitability as a management candidate. So research your interests very carefully. Lastly, ending off, what you will actually have to think of before you go into your personal interview. Put some time in to make sure that you are well dressed formally. I suggest a suit, but if that is not possible for you, at least wear a tie. People notice whether or not you have put in the effort to look good and well groomed before your interview. Wear clothes that are ironed, wear a tie at least for girls. Make sure your clothes are ironed. If you can wear a formal suit, good. Even Indian clothes are fine, but if possible, wear a formal suit because it looks as if you have put in the effort. Polished shoes, just make sure that you look as if you put in effort to look good for the interview. Carry a good looking folder, try to get a new folder in which you can keep all your certificates, and arrange them properly. It shows an organized mind. An organized mind is somebody who works hard. So all of these are subtle indicators of your ability to work hard in your MBA. Now I've not been able to answer some of the questions as such. I'll try to answer. I know that I'm not sure if Mohan is asking, but I'm not able to see where he asked the actual question. So I try to answer many of the questions, but if you guys are still interested in what exactly you should do, see the video do's and don'ts and try to formulate on your own. What you should do is then you should try to simulate the interview experience with some of your friends. Have them ask you questions. Once they try to ask you questions, you will realize that, okay, what are all the things that this kind of a conversation can lead to. So I try to answer as many questions, but it's impossible to answer all of your questions. But I hope that you at least know exactly how to frame your answers from now on, how to think of your personal interview preparation and go about it in a systematic manner. Thank you guys for joining us. I know many of you are preparing for IFT and I know that many of you are still joined in. I am very glad that you took the time out to join in, and I wish you the best of luck for all the personal interviews that you have. I hope that you convert it in this particular season itself. In case you are looking for CAT preparation also, we have a CAT scholarship test which is going on. It is going to be on Monday at 8 p.m. So just go at kraku.in/CAT scholarship test. So at the if the link is given at the bottom of the screen, so go to cat hyphen scholarship hyphen test. So this is a 1-hour test. Based on your performance in this test, you will get massive discounts for Krakow courses. More than that, more than just the discounts, this is a very good test. I personally took it and I felt that this was a very, very good test, indicative of the level of difficulty of CAT. So if you're looking for a way to diagnose your abilities, how good you are at CAT, this is a good starting point. So please try to take the scholarship test. Again, thank you guys for tuning in. It was a pleasure to interact with so many of you, and thank you.